Good morning and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be covering how to create this part, which is part of the CAD challenge on Reddit, if you look in the CAD subreddit. And I'll be covering also the how to do tech drawing of this part. And the tech drawing is part of the tech draw workbench. Okay, so I'm using FreeCAD. Let's see, FreeCAD version 0.17 from May the 16th. And the CAD challenge comes from this Reddit. If you go to Reddit, and it's the subreddit is CAD and user Quadro. Thank you for these challenges. He's up to challenge number 25 at this point, but I'm going to slowly work through all of the beginner challenges, and then I'll probably start doing the moderate and advanced. I'm going to try to do one of these a day. But I also want to do my CAD battle, and I need to update some OpenSCAD, finish off some OpenSCAD series. So anyway, let's keep moving, and let's look at this. Nope, that's the wrong one. That's the moderate challenge. We're going to be doing the beginner challenge, and you'll be able to see that here. So this is the drawing. So he's included a capture of the object and two draft drawings of the object. So you'll see when I go back to FreeCAD, you'll see our draft drawings are very similar. There's some differences in arrows and stuff, and I didn't get nodules here in tech drawing. So where the holes go through. So like this indicates transition. I think like this is where the center point of this hole is. So you see I have two holes here, but I didn't get the center point, so I don't know why that is. So I wasn't able to add that measurement. So if somebody knows how to fix that, or knows how to do it, or why it's broken, put that in the comments so we can have a good workaround. So here's the finished drawing, and we're going to start with this sketch. So I'll move. And this is something that happens with tech drawing. Is for some reason it tries to manage the window, so you're always getting tiled windows. So I'm going to start with that. With this drawing, we'll do it in a brand new document, so it'll all be from scratch. To begin making this part, I'm going to create a new document. I'm going to do a part, a body, and a sketch. I'm going to select the X, Y, and click OK. I'm going to add a keyhole, or a slot, and a box. I'm going to set this radius to 20 and resize. I'm going to set this line's dimension to 64, and I'll reposition these after I set the dimensions, and this line's dimension is going to be 75. So now let's move our slot. And now I'm going to do some constraining of these geometries. I'm going to constrain this circle center to the x-axis. I'm going to set this box, this horizontal line, to be symmetrical to the x-axis, and this horizontal line symmetrical to the y-axis. I'm going to set these to equal because I'm deleting this line later on, so I'll lose that constraint. Okay, so now I'm going to delete this line because I don't need it, and I'm going to delete this arc because I don't need it, and I'm going to add two arcs using the middle end. So I do a middle point, I'll do an end point, and another end point, and I'm going to add the second one and then set the radiuses. So I'm going to do middle, end. I'm going to select both of them and add a radius constraint, and it asks if you want to share. I do, and it's going to be 20. Now this looks goofy, but we're going to start fixing it. I need to add a horizontal constraint here because this edge is no longer constrained by that circle, the circle I deleted, that is. So we're going to add a horizontal constraint there, and you can see we're starting to take shape. So the next thing I'm going to add is a distance constraint. Now the drawing, you'll see, calls for 70 from this intersection to the outer diameter of the circle. But what we're going to do is we're just going to subtract the radius of the circle. Now you could create, let me show you a construction geometry way so you can do a direct measurement. So you see I've got a vertical line constraint and I've got the tangency constraint. So you see my line is now tangent to that circle. And you see how it's attached. So what I could do is I can do from this line to this point, I can put in a measurement constraint of 70 and I'd be done. That does add an additional geometry, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, and I like this method better. But let me show you the other method just in case you like that. So I know this to be 20 millimeters radius. I know the overall distance is 70, so the distance from the center to here is going to be 50. Oops, sorry, I want a horizontal. So I do 50. And that's effectively the same distance. So the next piece I add are the two holes in the diagram. I gotta move back to regular mode and add two holes. Now these are not going to be constrained to this x-axis because that's not the distance they're at. They are going to be mirrored, or they are going to be symmetrical though. So you'll notice the symmetry not only makes them symmetrical distance, it's also in alignment too in this direction. So now I'm going to do a measurement, a distance constraint here, a horizontal, and I think that was 27. And that's the final distance of our holes, and now we gives them a distance to separate them, and that was, so the measurement from edge to edge was 20, let's see, was, okay, so you see it's there, 34 is from edge to edge, but I don't want to do a construction geometry, so I could do a construction geometry there, but it's going to be 34 plus 10, because these radiuses are, oh, I'm sorry, let's set the radius first so we know that. So I've clicked both circles. You can set the radius at the same time. I'll click the radius constraint. We say yes so that they are set at the same time and set it to 5. So now from these centers I can do 34 plus 10, which is 44. So you see I've got 34 plus each radius of 5, which 5 plus 5 is 10, 34, 44. Okay, got to check my math because I'm bad at it. So that's our, I think that's our final, oh, we need to add one more circle here. So this is going to be coincident. So these two circles share the same center point, and we need to set the radius to 6. Okay. And let's see, radius. Okay, so that's for our basic drawing. So we're just going to close this, and then the next step is, let's get that back into view. The next step is to pad this sketch. So we look at the drawing, and the drawing tells us the thickness is, where's the thickness? 12, yeah. So let's pad this to 12. So we pick the sketch and click pad and set it to 12. So the next part is going to be to draw the two vertical pieces. So we're just going to add a sketch to the face of this object. So to create the vertical tabs, we're going to select this plane surface, and we're going to add a sketch to it. Oops, I have to make my body active. Now I'll select that plane and add the sketch. This sketch is going to consist of 2 boxes, and their width is going to be the same, so I'm going to set it to equal, and that width is going to be 12. Try that again, didn't take. And their distance apart is going to be 40. And now these are going to be, oh, and the height is going to be 75. And we'll set these to equal as well. and then they're going to be constrained to the corners of this line. So this, we're going to add an external geometry and coincident constraint, and coincident constraint here, and that's our sketch. Now the height of this sketch is going to be 52, but it's going to be minus 12, so that's 40. So now let's pad this to 40. And that's that. So the next piece is going to be the slot in the back. So to add the slot in the back, our body is active this time. We're going to click this back plane here and add a sketch. And just add the slot. And the slot will be is going to be 7 from this external edge and 7 from this external edge. So let's pick the edge, and we can use this point for both of them. So in this case, vertical distance is going to be 7. Now we don't have that same vertex to select there, so we're going to use the radius plus 7. This radius is set to 5. Now that doesn't, that's not explicitly defined, but I found that that's what worked. So I'm going to be doing from here to here, so it's 7 plus 5, which is 12. So do 12, and that number is used throughout the drawing, so it kind of makes sense. So this could be, so now I'm going to do, to finish this slot, I'm going to make it symmetrical to that center line. And now we could be done with a sketch, but I want to do a sort of a sketch-based fillet, just so that you know you can do it. So I'm going to pick the arc tool, and I'm going to use the center point from here. I'm going to go on that line, get the line constraint, or object constraint, and finish the sketch. So now I could just set this radius to 12. I think it should be 12, but I might have to do some more. Yeah, close. So, but in order for this to become a fillet, it has to be enclosed. It can't just be an open shape. So I'm going to constrain a line there, and there, and there. Did it take? Nope. Let's try that line again. Sometimes FreeCAD just doesn't like what you're doing. Okay, let's see what let's get rid of the redundant constraints. I don't know why that's, oh, it's because I have these. And then I'm just going to set this vertical line to 12, and that'll fix these lines and the radius. So that'll imply that'll constrain the radius, because you'll see it's from here to here, which is the radius. So that's what I'm going to use as my sketch, and now we'll pocket that. So the pocket will be a through all pocket, and you'll see how that would kind of get our fillets there. And that's a little bit, the reason that you might do that is it's easier to understand these relationships within the sketch than if you have to do it in the sketch and then in the fillet. But it's probably better modeling to do a fillet. So now let's add our fillet. So I'm going to select one edge so that I can show you how to select it inside. So we're going to do add ref, and we'll select this other edge. So now we have a fillet there, and we have to increase its size to 12. And click OK. And that's it. We're done. We're done with our part. So if that's all you wanted to do, you're done. So now I'm going to add a tech drawing. So for the final part of this video, we're going to do a tech drawing of this part. And I was trying to find out who the developer of TechDraw is, because it's a nice new feature. It's still very much under development, the forum informs me. But the best I could do was, it's a user called WanderFan, so I'd like to thank WanderFan for his effort. In addition to all the developers of FreeCAD, this is a very good and getting better tool. So to add to the TechDraw, we're just going to insert a new drawing. One of the things I've noticed on this toolbar, and I don't know why, is sometimes the new drawing in the folder are here, and other times they're here. I don't know why it does that. It doesn't matter that much. So to add your part to the tech drawing, you have to select the part in the tree. So in this case, it's the last thing I added was fillet, so that's the part. and you click on this insert a new view in the active drawing. So that's our view of the drawing, and I'm just going to move this to the side a little bit, and I'm going to add a second copy. So with fillet selected, I'm going to just add a second copy. Now I'm going to scale these down so they fit a little bit better, and you can just use scale right here by selecting custom, and then either scrolling or typing your custom value. So I'm going to set that to 75. I'm going to do the same thing to this one. Now this isn't the view I want of this drawing, so you can change that right from just from direction here. So I want this to be from the negative y direction or vector, and I don't want a z vector at all, so that gets me my side view just like we see in the sample. So now to add some of the dimensions, FreeCAD TechDraw doesn't have the exact same capabilities as some of the other CADs, so the dimensions will be slightly different. So to add line dimensions, you can select line and then click the line dimension, and you'll see 40 is added there. Now you can also, I'm not going to do this, but I'm going to show you just on this one, I'm going to show you can change the fonts so you can make them fit nicer and whatnot to your heart's content. So we're going to add the 12 to here, and we're going to add 12 to here. So you'll see it's very easy to add dimensions. I'm going to just make them overlap so it hopefully looks nicer. But for this, because it's multiple segments, I have to pick the endpoints to add the length. You see 75. Now this is a point that's different. So this lines up with the center point of the end radius of the slot. So in the sample drawing, it lines up with the outside diameter or the tangent diameter. So that's a little different. So this is going to be 12, and in our sample it's 7. But so our case is it's 7 plus radius of 5. So it does work. So now we're going to add some radiuses. So to add the radius, you select that, add radius. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Sorry. Radius. And I want to add radiuses here. Radius of 20 and a radius here. And I want this to have a radius. I think that's our last radius, so that's a radius of 5. And so now let's add, I think that's all our dimensions on that piece. Yep, so now let's add our 70 here. So to get both of them, you have to add you use the control key to select multiple points. So that's a 70 there, and then this one is going to be, if I can click it. Oh yeah, so this is actually representing the curve of the fillet. So the fillet that I made with a sketch. So we'll have to do a point to point there. So that's 12. And then the overall height is 52. And then the one I can't do here is 27. So it's from this edge to the center of these holes is 27 here, but I can do it here. So I'll just do that to center and do a measurement, and that should be 27. So whereas I can't make it exactly like the sample, I can represent the dimension. And that's the TechDraw. Remember, TechDraw is under development, so there are bugs, but I found you can get very workable drawings. And then the last feature I'd like to show you with TechDraw is that you can print. And this is awesome because if you're familiar with FreeCAD, it's been hard to print. So that was, oops, I printed. Let's do a print preview. So it will print you a nice representation of what you've designed. You can hear my printer going in the background, I think. Well, that's it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you would like, please subscribe. I'm headed towards 500 subscribers, and at that point I'm going to do a giveaway. I'm considering doing printed parts for a mini console. So if you're interested in that, if you think that's something you'd like to win, let me know in comments, and so I'll decide whether or not I'm going to do that, because I'll have to print them ahead of time. And also make sure you like this video and share it with your friends. And most of all, have a great day.